I went into Player Manager looking for something a little different, and I definitely found it. Whoa, I'm not into soccer, and I didn't expect to enjoy this book. Honestly, I thought I'd read it, it'd suck, I'd do an honest review saying as much, and then I'd move on with my life. I didn't even know Player Manager's premise. How does someone write a lit RPG novel about managing a soccer team? I've been so conditioned to think lit RPG equals being sucked or thrust, could have chosen better words there, transplanted into another world, that I thought I was about to take a trip into some bizarre soccer based universe. But, well, it is England, so not far off. Look, it feels weird to say this, but Player Manager might be up there with the best books I've read this year. It sucked me, it won me over. All right, should I try to do this entire review in a bad English accent? Probably not, but maybe.
No fluff writing advice. Cut the fluff!
All right, this was going to be a tough one. Player Manager genuinely impressed me way beyond what I expected, but nothing's perfect, is it? I'm sure I can find something to have a whinge about. I'm really going to have to earn my onions with this one. If you know, you know. Anywho, let's start with some well earned praise. And yes, I will drop the accent. Hey, usually when I attempt an accent, I just sound like Borat, so it could have been worse. Or better, depending on how you look at it. Very nice. Yeah, sorry about that. All right, to the review. Firstly, I love British humour. Huge fan of British comedy. The Inbetweeners, Black Books, Misfits, Peep Show, The IT Crowd, The Mighty Boosh, to name a few. In Player Manager, the narrator Luke Francis does a brilliant job. The protagonist, Max Best, sounds exactly what I'd expect a guy from Manchester who's contracted a soccer based curse to sound like. Perfectly delivered lines, especially the humorous ones. So, well done. The opening to Player Manager is almost fairy tale like. The guy, was it Nick? Something plain like that. Anyway, the guy Max meets and how he gets his powers legit feels like a scene from a fairy tale. Nick comes across as a bit of an evil genie, and in fairy tales, wishes always go wrong, right? I do appreciate how the curse has two sides to it. While it mostly enhances Max, it also limits him in some ways. I will say I would have liked to have seen more on the limitation side. The one time it really affects him, it's a great scene and a great revelation, but once he understands the game, the curse, the situation a little better, limitations aren't really an issue. I see some potential there for things to get screwy, so we'll see. Weirdly, I found it refreshing to read a lit RPG set in the real world. Max's powers don't make him stand out too much, at least not in the beginning, and there's a certain level of realism to the setting and characters, even if there's some wild stuff going on inside Max's noggin. The plot's grounded, yet still compelling. Most situations are fairly low stakes, generally not life or death like it is in so many other lit RPG novels. It's just win this game, sign this player, make this deal, that sort of stuff. No, Max Best isn't out there saving the world, but I'm still drawn into the story. I mean, it's just soccer. Why do I care? I think this book cursed me. The magic system is super unique. I mean, it has to be. It's not based on the typical fantasy RPG mechanics. It's based on soccer video games, I guess. I don't know. The last one I played looked something like this. While a lot of Max's skills are passive, he does get active skills eventually, and that's where it starts to get a bit sinister, doesn't it? When he can start manipulating other people with his abilities. I'd love to see some repercussions and moral dilemmas around the topic to keep the series compelling. I feel like Max's powers have to start backfiring at some point in a big way. I mean, he does call it a curse, not a blessing. I want to see it act more curse like. Also, the way Max gets XP is fairly unique. The multiple ways he gets XP, it's a continuous learning experience, and he's constantly questioning how the curse works. Why did I get XP for that? Why didn't I get XP for that? What's CA and PA? Bit of a mystery, isn't it? Sorry, that'll be the second last time I bust out an English ish accent. CA and PA, I'm at least as daft as Max because I couldn't figure it out. Such a low stakes mystery that's somehow still compelling. I wanted to know what they were. I feel like this book should be as boring as a game of kids' soccer, but somehow it's not. I found myself genuinely invested in the games and teams Max manages. So many powerful moments in those matches. The one against Manchester City comes to mind. Listening to that is more exciting than watching an actual game. I don't know if that says more about the audiobook or soccer itself. There's plenty of conflict and tension throughout the narrative to keep you turning pages or not pressing stop on the audiobook. That's right, it's not all fun and games. Well, it mostly is, but there are quite a few near ruinous moments for old Maxi Boy. Even with his curse-given powers, he still has to work for his wins. He's not totally OP, and he does experience genuine setbacks. The fact that he's still learning how the curse works helps get him into trouble. For the record, from a storytelling perspective, getting into trouble is good. Keeps things interesting. I love the dynamics between characters. Their relationships develop with the characters themselves. Max's unreasonably harsh opinion of Jackie is a constant source of entertainment. I don't remember any of the lines, but the way he describes him at times, I found that very amusing. Oh, come on, surely I've run out of nice things to say about Player Manager by now. Honestly, I could probably keep going, but where's the fun in that? Let's discuss the bad bits. Firstly, throughout the story, there are some dull moments, but to be fair, they seem to be intentional for the most part. Even Max is bored in those scenes. Some of his XP grinding is about as fun as staring at dry paint, but overall, the pacing's pretty good. I tried to say something negative, but turned it into a neutral. Okay, I'll try again. One issue I've found with listening to audiobooks that are written in the first person is it's sometimes hard to tell if you're hearing dialogue or inner monologue. It's not just an issue with this book, I've noticed it with other first person narratives too. It makes the listening experience a little confusing, or maybe that's just me. I don't even know what the solution is. You can't really use different voices. I guess it's a drawback to first person audiobooks, something to keep in mind. Back to Max's curse powers. When he's manipulating people, like I said, I hope the ramifications of this are explored later. We don't find out what they're experiencing, what's going through their heads when that happens. Maybe because I'm so keen to see the curse backfire and become more nefarious, I'm more focused on those types of questions. If they stay unanswered, well, I'll be a bit miffed.
Oh no, not miffed.
Alright, my biggest issue with Player Manager, and it almost ruins the entire book and makes it totally unreadable. A book set in the UK, and not once, I repeat, not once, did I hear the word gobshite.
Gobshite again!
Is that an English word or is it Irish? Either way, the lack of gobshite is unacceptable. I demand to speak to a manager, not the player manager, the manager of the book, the author. Fix this. Okay, my actual biggest issue with Player Manager. At the ends of many chapters, the author relies heavily on creating false tension or suspense, like forced cliffhangers where there aren't any. Max will say things like,
Then everything changed.
end chapter, or
Then everything went nuts.
end chapter, or
This moment changed everything.
end chapter. It's a cheap trick that, in my opinion, should only be used very sparingly and only when something genuinely wild is about to happen. Otherwise, it just loses its effect.
What I'm about to say next changes everything.
No, that's it. Blow the whistle. Full time. Review's over. I've earned my onions. Cheerio then. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe. If you didn't enjoy this video, hit subscribe anyway and hate watch my content. That's always fun.